All right, well, thanks for joining me today. I just wanted to go through a few quick tips and tricks regarding Zoom, getting started out of the box using Zoom meeting. For those of you that have joined us today, just a couple of things we're going to go over. One is getting started with Zoom, different plans, pricing, options, things along those lines. Then we'll move into the Zoom portal itself, how to set it up, how to set up a meeting, do those kinds of things, and then I'll just cover a few quick tips and tricks along the way. The big difference between going from a basic account to going pro is that you have an unlimited amount of time in the meeting itself. So on a free account, it's a 40-minute time limit for a group meeting of more than 2 people. So you can have an unlimited one-on-one meeting. Beyond that, though, there is a 40-minute limitation to start adding more people. With the free service, you do get most of the features. The only thing that is excluded is recording video. So if you wanted to record video, you would have to move up to the $14.99 per month, which is the pro plan. That particular plan is in US dollars, just to be clear. And with that, you get up to 100 participants with a meeting duration of up to 24 hours, with the ability also to record MP4 and M4A cloud recordings up to 1 gigabyte, which also allows you to record on your computer. So you don't have to use up all the cloud resources. You can use your internal hard drive on your computer to do some of the recording as well. So getting into the meetings themselves, when you go into your profile, you'll see initially all of your information, including your account number, your personal meeting ID information. You can show or hide that information for instant meetings. The great thing with using instant meetings is that you can keep that same meeting ID, share it out, do a daily meeting, for instance, which is something we at the Sandbox do every day. So we have one static meeting. We use our personal meeting ID number. Everybody logs into that meeting every morning at the exact same time, and we just know that everybody's on there. So there are also templates that you can set up. So you'll see in my back end, I've got a few different templates. And what these templates allow me to do is for anything where I'm going to be running and hosting the same type of meeting over and over again, I can go in and I can set up branding and labeling for that specific meeting with Sandbox information and our C-suite and all the fun stuff in it. And what that allows me to do is just go in and use the template. It'll pre-populate everything with this, and then I can just reuse the same meeting over and over again. The great thing with meetings as well is if you wanted to set up a new meeting, you click schedule a new meeting, and here you can set it up for a recurring meeting. So if you know you're going to run the same meeting every week, for instance, you don't want to change all of the information every time, you can set up a recurring meeting. When you do that, it'll just automatically give you the option to run it daily, weekly, monthly, whatever that recurrence is. And then once you've done that, you can have that repeat as often as you need to. With this, you can also set up requiring a meeting password. So not getting into too much detail about safety and security using Zoom, but one of the recommendations that I do have is using a meeting password for all of your meetings. Without using a meeting password, you've probably heard of Zoom bombing. Zoom bombing can happen if somebody just types in your meeting ID and they have a Zoom account, they can directly jump right into your Zoom meeting without you even knowing and start screen sharing and doing all sorts of fun things. So I strongly suggest using the require a meeting password on all meetings and then sharing that out with the participants, even if you don't plan on having them register. One of the other great things is you can set it up so that you have people register for the particular meeting. So in here, you can have them register once and attend just that single occurrence, or register to each occurrence, or register to more than one occurrence all at the same time. So great thing to have. I love using this. Actually, I use it all the time for setting up our different online connects groups and things along those lines. And the reason for that is so that I can see who's going to be attending in advance. I can presume that, we can allow the people in that we want to allow in and leave the people out that we want to leave out as well. So it's just another layer of security. So with my Zoom settings, I can go in and I can actually have all of my stuff set up prior for all of my meetings. So the great thing with Zoom is it gives you umpteen thousands of ways of setting up each individual meeting, whether you're hosting a meeting, whether you're allowing the host video to start when the meeting starts. I typically recommend leaving this off. Leave participant video on only if you have or plan on having people participate in your Zoom meeting via video. Typically, I allow most of my conferences to have telephone and computer audio enabled. You can do it so that it's strictly computer audio or strictly telephone, depending on the type of meeting that you want to host. I always turn off join before host. Again, you want to be the person that controls and drives the meeting. So when that is off, it just allows you to have full control and manage who comes in the room and things along those lines. One of the main things I would recommend too when you are setting up your meetings, that you turn on the enable waiting room. And what that allows you to do is actually see the participants that are waiting outside of your Zoom meeting prior to letting them in. And the best part of that is, again, the next level of security that offers, because right now, if you didn't set up your meeting password, for instance, and somebody did try to bomb your meeting and you didn't know who they were, this would give you an extra layer of security before letting them into the meeting. You don't want to have sounds playing when people join or leave, because it can be very, very distracting in a meeting. You do want to set up different things like maybe polling, for instance, which allows you to ask questions to the group of individuals that are on your call. So with regards to screen sharing, I recommend turning it off, but leaving it on host only. When you turn it on and on host only, it allows you to share your screen as the host, but it also allows you to allow the participants, as you want them to share their screen. You can turn this off completely and enable it during the actual session, but it's much easier if it's already enabled prior to starting.